Welcome back to the 100K Pod, Season 5, Year 3. We are dogs. Yes, it is good to be back officially for the NFL season. For those that are new, here we are at the 100K every single week. We come together, we put together our favourite leagues, put $10 on at the final chance to try and hit $100,000 and hit the Holy Grail, hit our prophecy. It is good to be back. We have Luke Morgan and the Twisted Truth, Adam Knight. How are we, lads?
Fantastic, Dars. As you said, we're absolutely pumping out the content at the moment. We're in week 1 of finals, week 1 of NFL. It's absolutely humming. What a pleasure it is to have the Twisted Truth on board tonight.
Boys, glad to be here. Week 1, we're ready to go. The real stuff is finally here. Got some good bets as well. There's a lot of cash to be made this week, so looking forward to getting stuck in.
A lot. You know when you have a serious campaign and when we come with all of our notes, and Twist just pretty much just comes off top of the dome. He knows everything. He's like a human calculator, a football calculator. That's what they call him. Now, before we get into it, we will be doing a punters club. So Jev will be running this, the big fella. He's not here tonight, unfortunately. He's just doing more notes. So just the normal Discord punters club. So we'll put a code out if you guys are in the Discord. It's $2 to join.
Definitely. It should be noted as well that like the AFL season, and a lot of people that probably aren't going to be as well informed on the NFL, the copy bets will be posted in the Patreon. So that's one of the biggest.
Yes, they will.
Whether you should follow this multi or not, I don't 100% know. But yeah, the copy bets will be in the Patreon, which will go straight to your email inbox if you remember, Dust.
Well, the best thing is, even if you don't like all the games, you just click the games that you like.
That's right.
And then, so you don't have to put on all the 25 leagues. You might only want to select the 12 leagues. And we know when you are trying to go to a new game and trying to find the markets, it's very difficult if you don't really know your way around the betting apps. But obviously, if we've set it, it'll be in there, and then you guys can just click the link, which makes it very easy.
We probably should explain. So different to AFL. So AFL usually film on Thursday night.
Yes.
Every market is out on a Thursday night. So given the fact that it's Wednesday night, so we're going to be looking to film on Wednesday nights during NFL season.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is it's going to be like, for those of you that know, it's like a little bit of a Sunday roast, bit of a hook, line and sinker, and 100K all wrapped into one.
I love it, Morgs. And it also gives you a bit of room to move. That there's some action late in the week. Someone pulls out, someone comes in. You can just move the markets a little bit, manipulate it, and turn it into a real juicy multi. It's good stuff.
Without further ado, boys, let's get into it. So here we go. This will actually be tomorrow, so we're just going to just chat about this. So Detroit at Kansas. Kansas minus 6.5. Was there anything you want to touch on this game? Because obviously this won't be in the multi.
Not only, other than maybe the Detroit points I'd be looking at, because we've got no Kelsey. Who's he throwing to? Really, it's Sky Moore, it's MVS. So it's a lot of unknowns going into this game. No Chris Jones, obviously. And if Detroit are going to be anything like we think they are, because we all had them pretty high in our predictions the other week, their O-line is going to be one of their strengths. So O-line versus no Chris Jones, do you have a look at the 6 points?
Yeah, you do. You're making some good points there, Morgs. And if Detroit are going to be the team that everyone wants them to be, well, they have to at least cover the spread, I would think, in Kansas.
I would like to see if this comes in at all, because this is 6.5 before the Kelsey injury, if he does miss. So if that does come in, I'll be absolutely hammering Kansas.
It'd be amazing if a tight end can bring in a line, though.
Yeah,
it would be very fascinating to see. So we'll find out.
Who's their backup? Gray. Noah Gray.
Be interesting to just see him just throw it and just get Pacheco just to run the football downhill. But it'll be interesting to see if Detroit can actually, because last year, terrible defense, see if they can bolster that up a little bit more. All right, so first official game into the 100K multi that we'll be talking about. 49ers at Steelers. Steelers plus 2.5 points. Knight, I believe that you got something for this game.
I do, Das. This is actually my steak and eggs. I'm locking up the Steelers plus 2.5. It's not a great line to be betting, the 2.5. If it's 3.5, it's probably my bet of the year in week 1. Wow. But I'm still going to take the 2.5 because I like Kenny Pickett and the Steelers that much. And I'm nervous about the Niners. All right, they lost week 1 last year to Chicago. Remember in the monsoon. The Steelers picked off Joe Burrow 4 times in the first half, week 1 last year, 1 in Buffalo, week 1 the year before that. So we know that Tomlin and the Steelers are going to come out firing. The 49ers we're not as sure about. Home dogs, I love it. I'm going to take all that 2.5 as my steak and eggs.
That is unbelievable. So for those that are new, our steak and eggs, we don't usually do this in the AFL show. So every week we usually pick a market from each player. So QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, potentially a touchdown, and a steak and egg. So that is a line bet. So that is usually like the $1.90. It can be an over or under, or it can be a point spread. So Knight has taken the Steelers as his absolute lock. His $1.90 lock of the week, and he's done it in the first game for us in the 100K, which is massive.
It can also be an under-over for props as well.
Yep,
so
sure.
Similar to AFL, it could be like their disposals under over. Yeah, so yeah, so long as it's paying $1.90. That's unbelievable. Steak and eggs first bet.
That is unbelievable. What a way to get us off the bat. Now the next one, Panthers and Falcons. Falcons minus 3.5. Morgs, I believe you got something here.
Yeah, so I'll be looking to tease this, I reckon. So we should explain what teasing means. So the line at the moment is -3.5 to Atlanta. So like an alternate handicap in the footy, basically.
Yes.
So it's -3.5 right now. I'm looking to probably take it to maybe +1 or even just even. But I think this is boom or bust. So I'm going off the fact that I really don't rate Carolina. I spoke about it last week. I really don't rate them. And I don't know if I rate Atlanta yet, but I'm ready to. I'm so ready to rate them. I think the media rates them. Everyone's loving them. So I had them going 7 and 10. So I'm not sort of planning them to make the NFC Championship or anything like that. But they were seriously frisky at the end of last year. Tyler Algier was just running people's throats in. They had Robinson, obviously. They obviously having a look at what Desmond Ridder's doing. So we've spoken about all this before. Have you seen the coach's new mo?
I haven't, but I'm
Sounds incredible.
I'll get it up and I'll show you after the show, mate. It's an absolute dog of a mo. And I just think he's confident, the boy.
Hey, on the back of that, Morgs, I'll be taking my steak and eggs, boys.
Oh, here we go.
Insert the sticker here, Morgs. So Bijan Robinson, I'll be taking his yards over. We have nothing to go off. Absolutely nothing. This is his first professional NFL football game. Boys, he's steak and eggs. Last year, he had 1,580 yards in 12 games.
Jesus.
That is averaging 131 yards a game in the SEC.
What's his
Power
line gonna be,
5
do you reckon?
football. Probably like 66 or something.
I was going to say 64.
It will probably be something around the 60 mark, his
Okay,
first
yeah.
one, and this is going to absolutely bounce up. I could so say this, if anyone remembers Saquon Barkley's first ever game, he had 2 absolute breakout runs, straight out to the side, straight up to the house for an absolute tutty. He could go for 150, and this line is going to look stupid, whether it's 65, whether it's 85. I'm hammering the over, boys. That is my steak and eggs to get us
Are you
rolling.
taking him rushing yards or
Rushing over.
Geez, you'd hate it if he just breaks a 75-yard screen pass to the house, wouldn't you?
That's what I
He'll still get on the back of it. He'll get on the back of it.
I reckon he might be this year's Eckler. I really do, because Algier's not going anywhere. He was seriously good, and obviously he's still in the team. I think the all-purpose might be the go for this year, but I love the rushing off. Just take what he does.
Just take him what he does, because last year he only had 314 yards in the air.
Yeah.
1,580 on the ground.
So he's just a dog.
I'm back in the ground. He's absolute pitbull.
No,
he's
I'm all
going
for it.
to be running
All
through
about it.
walls. Next game, so we got Texans going to the Ravens. So going to Baltimore, obviously improved a lot. Ravens -10 in this one. Nighter, you got a couple of good legs.
I've got 2. I've got Zay Flowers, the
Yeah,
rookie
love it.
wide receiver, for 50 yards. Again, we don't know what his line's going to be, so we'll have to adjust that when it comes
School
out.
and signing bonus.
But yeah, it was like 7 mil or
7
something.
mil.
Yeah. Jeez, they went nuts. I would have loved it. So I've got Zay Flowers to get over 50 yards. A couple of reasons. After the first 4 weeks, the last 2, maybe even 3 years, Lamar Jackson's been the MVP favourite. He's got off to really hot starts the last 4 weeks. We talked about it on the predictions pod. I think it's going to be a different look offense, going to be a bit more spread, a lot more yards through the air. So I think Zay Flowers is a great choice first up. And my second one's Mark Andrews.
Love it.
Anytime touchdown. Pretty much for the same reason.
Love it.
We're going up against the Texans here. Don't like the Texans secondary. Don't like much in Houston this year, and definitely not covering tight ends. So I think Andrews shakes free, gets 1, maybe even 2 touchdowns if you want to really boost your multis.
Zay Flowers hype too. Like, there's so much hype coming out, but
And Odell.
none of it seems inflated. Like, a lot of the Jets hype seems like a lot really hard knocks and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. This Zay Flowers shit, it seems real. So hopefully it is, and we can bet on him all year.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's the guy that Baltimore have been waiting for years.
Someone that can just break open speed. All right, next game, boys. Bengals at the Browns. So the Browns getting the points, so +2.5. So that means the Bengals are favourites. Morgs, you got something in this one?
Yeah, so I'm actually a little bit sad about this because the news is that Joe Burrow may not play. Now,
what?
Now we know
Very
that
concerned.
we know that Joe Burrow. So the size of his penis basically is resembled a jar of passata that you might find at Aldi.
Like a horse's phallus.
I've heard that at the moment it's not quite the size of what it usually is. Just a sort of a low-key basil at the moment.
A mutti.
The man is about to sign a $300 million contract. Nida reckons that he'll sign it the day before the game, but we still don't know if he's going to play. So let me tell you, if he's playing, he'll be in the multi, but we just don't know. So let's try and turn this into sort of a more leader sort of size, and we'll get rolling on Sunday.
I'm
Forward
excited.
to seeing the big Passada back.
Oh, the boy.
It's not quite the same with the 500 mil in the mitts, is it?
That's right. No, the basil does nothing.
Big divisional game. Before we move on, who are you taking head to head if you have to pick?
I'm going the Browns just because of Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I'm the same.
same.
And Chubb. Bet on Chubb.
100%. Yeah, I'm surprised no one bet on Chubb.
Yeah.
That's all right. He'll make it back in. All right, boys, next one. Buccaneers at the Vikings. Vikings favourite, -6 points. Twist, you got something for us. It is a day game, I believe.
It is a day game in Minnesota. So that is Kirko Chains.
Oh, stop it.
So I'm taking Kirko Chains for over 1.5 touchdowns.
Yep,
I think in that stadium, 1 p.m., we've talked about it. We've all seen it. He's going to air it out. I think everyone knows Tampa's not going to be great this year, but I will say their secondary is one unit that's sort of hung around from the previous year, so it could be one of their stronger groups. But Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, I think Kirk's going to cook. I like him for 3 touchdowns, but we'll stay modest. We'll go 1.5 and just keep this thing rolling.
Love it.
You can so see it just at opening week 1, the early slate. It's like Kirk's come off having 5 tuds.
250 and 3 at half time. Something stupid like
Fresh
that.
off quarterback on Netflix. Everyone loves him.
That should be an easy line then, by the looks of things. Like,
I like that.
Vikings -6. Like, that'd be something definitely towards, I think we'd all lean. Next game, boys, this could be an absolute tie of fire, Morgs, as you like to say. Cardinals at Washington. Washington -7. Twist, I believe you got something here as well.
I do. Well, you got to look for the gems in the rough,
That's
don't
right,
you? So
that's right.
I'm taking Brian Robinson Jr. From the Commanders anytime touchdown.
What?
Bijan Robinson gets all the love, but Brian, he's not quite as good, but he's got a bit of juice left in the legs. And I think I'm excited to see Bieniemy, the new offensive coordinator in Washington, what he can do down there. But basically, I just don't trust Sam Howell to get the ball into the end zone. So I think they're going to get it down. When they get in the red zone, they're going to lean on Brian. And I think he gets in for 6.
A lot of people think too, Antonio Gibson was the lead back starting last year, but they were just praying for reasons to move him as to the second running back. Definitely Brian Robinson, after he got shot and came back, he came back different. And I love that twist.
You see what he came out to? Many men.
Yeah, it was the best video I've seen.
It is so good. Nothing in this one?
No, I left it alone.
So did I. I didn't have anything in this one. Next one, boys. Titans at the Saints. Saints favourite, -3. Morgs, are we going back to the well with someone? One of our favourites.
Absolutely we are. Now, I spoke about it on the prediction show. I'm extremely bullish on the Titans. And I actually heard a lot of pods this week. There's more people starting to come on board. Not that I'm saying I created that, but it makes me feel
I believe that you are the leader of the Titans.
Well, from the 216 views on YouTube would say differently. But I seriously think they're serious. So 11-6, I've got them going. I'm just backing Vrabel. Now, the reason I like them is I just don't think they're going to have the year where at week 6 they go, fuck, we're not that good. Because that was their year last year. They saw what they have. They got the same list pretty much. They add D-Hop. They've got a new running back behind Derrick Henry. But I'm going Derrick Henry for that man.
Cash cow.
As I said, 11-6, I've got him going. So I think there'll be a bit of a shared load. So I don't think it's good to bet on him for yards this year. What's his name? I got his name. Tyjae Spears. Done a bit of work on this. I don't know if you know about him, Twist, but he's electric, this bloke.
He's got juice.
Yeah, so much juice. So I reckon they'll use them both and they can give Derrick Henry a little bit of a rest. But anytime touchdown, this is an absolute lock. You talk about script stars. These teams are so scripted up. They say the first 15 plays are scripted in football. Week 1, first 15 plays. He'll score in the first quarter and probably in the second. You've got to have this in the multi.
Everyone's great when they're not tired. And champions, when they're tired, that's when the real champions come out. That's when the real dogs eat. Because if you're going to piss like a puppy, stay on the porch. I'm taking Jamal Williams, boys. 17 tuds on the ground last year. New team at the Saints. If anyone remembers that speech, that's from Hard Knocks last year. We've got to crowbar that in. That is one of the greatest speeches of all time. He starts crying. He's sick of losing. This man, 17 touchdowns on the ground last year, was an absolute tutty machine. New team. Hopefully they can get down towards the red zone and he can just punch one in. I've got no idea how much he's going to pay. It was actually really good last year. It was around like that $1.80 mark almost every week. I was going to ask you as well what we think the Henry touchdowns, probably
$1.83.
$1.83, which is really good. It's like an over-under bet essentially for these guys that, as you said, they've pretty much like a vanilla playbook at the start. They want to get everyone their touches the first few weeks. They want to try and get a win early. So I think it's pretty basic, and I think that they both punch one in this game.
These teams both will be interesting during the year to find out who is the anytime touchdown bet. Because it's either going to be Kamara or Williams, and it's either going to be Henry or Spears. Usually you have that one that's the end zone threat and one that's the rushing threat. So keep your eye out, Twist.
No, I love it. Did you see the other Jamal Williams interview at the end of the Packers game last year?
Yeah, we'll crowbar that in.
He has to be one of the funniest characters in the NFL, doesn't he? All right, boys, next game, Jags at Colts. Colts getting the points plus 4.5. Who knows what they're going to bring out? Obviously, new quarterback, but Morgs, come on, talk to us.
Yeah, so I talk about the first 15 plays. If there's a more scripted first 15 plays, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence's first quarter in week 1. So 258 is actually his line in the States. So because it's an early game, you can get that line. So I definitely like to take that. But again, I'm going to tease it down. I'm just going to take him for 225 yards in the air. I get $1.30 for that. I just can't say no to this. I think this is the year. I think this is going to be a really exciting game. I don't know if the Colts are going to be great to watch in week 7, but I think Colts Jags, it's probably unmissable.
Well, 2 years ago.
You think I'd be paid to say that? I was like,
2 years ago, these teams played week 1 as well, but the roles were very much reversed.
Definitely.
Jags were the worst team, trying to get Trevor Lawrence. Colts just signed, I don't know who the quarterback was.
Wentz.
They changed every year. Was it Wentz?
I think it was Wentz.
And the Jags won. And it was their only win until week 17. So you just never know. The Colts could definitely steal it.
They always say never bet week 1 of the NFL for that reason. We did a Survivor thing personally, I think the last 2 years, and we have put a couple $100 on the Colts over the Jags. Jags pinch the win.
We learned.
If we do it, we will be staying away from this contest either way because you don't want this to happen again. Next game, Morgs. This is a cut between me and you. We've been to one of these games. Twist was actually there as well. Rams at the Seahawks. Seahawks only 5.5 point favourites. I'm hearing a lot of talk from the Seahawks, and under a touchdown, I don't think that's enough for you guys. Like, is that a slap in the face?
No, I don't think so because I just don't
I'm hearing
think
10 points.
Everyone's saying how good we're going to be and how far we're going, including you, Twist. I just don't think, I'm not willing to accept it until I see it. Having said that, I think the Seahawks money line is an absolute certainty. Cooper Kupp, this is weird what's going on with Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I reckon he'll miss a month easily. The way McVay talked yesterday, it seems really weird.
It seems at least a month. Like,
Yeah,
this
100%.
could easily... This is the start of the spiral. If you watch the predictions pod last week, it's all starting to unravel for the Rams. This could go down south quick.
Like, all of a sudden, they're saying that they're going to be relying on Tutu Atwell, which is one of your... Was he a first-round pick or second-round pick?
Second.
All of a sudden, he's good for some reason, which he's not, because he hasn't been playing.
Van Jefferson's going to have to...
And the captain's Skoronik.
Ben Skoronik, he would make another 53.
And he's the captain.
Does Stafford finish the year in LA?
I don't think Stafford, McVay, or Donald do.
Stafford's going to go out there and play another season of football because he's collecting $53 million.
It is, because where would he go? You can't really shift a quarterback.
That was my next
mid-season.
question. I don't know.
If this is last year, he had a punch and lung, broken arm, and a severed spinal cord last year and went out there and played.
Did he really?
He did when he hit that touchdown pass on.
A severed cord.
Yeah. His spinal cord was
What
hanging
an
on.
animal.
He's a football guy. They're going to wheel him out there. You know why? Because he's collecting $53 million if he does. Get out there. He's going to sling some rocks. And, hey, I reckon we can pinch a few games.
Don't be surprised to see DK Metcalf in there too. He's going to have a hell of a year.
He will. All right, next game, boys. Here we go. Big divisional game. Eagles at the Patriots. I believe it's a homecoming for Tom Brady. Patriots plus 3.5.
Yeah. No, I was just a bit confused about the big divisional game. Philly.
Oh,
Patriots.
sorry. I thought it said Cowboys for a second. My bad.
Sorry.
So, my bad. I thought it said Cowboys. I read.
We'll cut that.
My eyes were like this and they scanned down and I saw Cowboys Giants and I accidentally read out the wrong one. Yes, Morgs.
Hello.
I've got a bet in this game. I just thought if you had an opinion on this game.
Stick to the run sheet, big fella.
Beautiful. All right, here we go. Philly minus 3.5. What are we talking about? We all have Philly making the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we did.
And we all have Patriots probably being a 5-win team.
I had 5.
I think I was 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a bit more bullish on them, but 3.5 points.
I don't know. On the road, Bill. If Bill Belichick's going to be good, it's going to be week 1. So
Philly's such a good team last year, even though they lost in the Super Bowl. It's like you see them, they don't want to lose week 1. Like they're just going to come back. They're just going to do what they do, run the football. I just think they're going to get this done quite comfortably. And I just think 3. I thought this line would have opened at 7. I don't know what I'm thinking.
I can't see this game being in the middle. I think the Pats cover or the Eagles just dog wash them. I think it's one or two ways. I think they
just
beat them early.
I think they come out and they should. I think
or the Pats cover.
I can see the Pats putting in a fight there defensively for the first half, but I just think that the Eagles just run all over them and do whatever they want to. And Jalen Hurts comes back and shows everyone why he's that guy. And also, I've got him for a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, this is good.
13 on the year last year.
Really good.
Whenever they needed one, their O-line is so strong. And he literally squats 600 pounds, which is like, I know, 280 kilos for reps. Like, he's so strong. And every time when there's like a 4th and inch or whatever, they always get it for that reason. The O-line's super strong. He's super strong. So when they get down in that very line, if they don't want to throw anything and they want to hold on to that football, he'll just rush it in. So I like him for a touchdown. And I think Philly cover quite comfortably.
Hurts rushing for 40 last year was honestly death taxes in Kane Farrell.
Absolutely. Here we go. Another divisional game. Raiders at the Broncos. Broncos minus 4. I I know none of you have a leg, but I just feel like I'm talking a lot. Tay Adams, boys, 60-plus receiving yards last year, averaged 89 a game. Obviously, different quarterback this year. Let's see how he goes. But Tay Adams, until proven wrong, he will continue to feature in our multi. Next one, Packers at the Bears. Bears minus 1.5 twist. You want to talk about this game?
Yeah, no bets, but I would stay away from Fields' rushing yards in this one. Okay. I reckon if you're the Packers and you've had a whole offseason to scheme for week one, what are you scheming against the Bears offense? You're trying to take away Justin Fields' rush and trying to get him to throw the ball. So that would be my advice in this game. Stay away from the rush. Saying that, he'll probably break 2 big ones and get 150. But I reckon I would stay away because the Packers are going to scheme for it. I'll be looking for DJ Moore.
Yeah, okay.
Because I reckon that's going to be the Bears' counter to them trying to stop the run is the quick pass game and trying to get behind those big D linemen and get some yards after the catch.
Tough game to bet on. This you just need to have a look at these two teams.
Absolutely.
100%. Next one, boys. Dolphins at the Chargers. Chargers -3. Morgs, you have someone that we all love.
Yeah, Eckler anytime touchdown. So this was a little bit of a gut feel one because there's not a heap to go on because he sort of didn't start the year that well last year.
How bizarre was that? The year before, he was every game, and what do you have, like 5 or 6 games before he got going, and then he just went...
Yeah, he would have been like first rounder in fantasy for sure, and then just didn't have that sort of year. And he didn't finish that well last year either.
What did he end with last year, touchdowns?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but it was not what we predicted.
Yeah. It was like low 20s the year before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was anything. So this is a bit of a gut feel one. Not going a lot of stats here, but I reckon you hear a lot of reports how well liked he is. So obviously the players and the coaches don't do the contract talks. But he couldn't get a contract done. This is his last year. I think it was a $24 million contract, $6 million. We know that running backs aren't getting paid, but I think they're going to want him to be in the offense pretty heavily. Kellen Moore's talked about how much he wants to rely on the run game to help Herbert, and obviously he did that in Dallas, which was the offensive coordinator from Dallas. So he comes across to the Chargers. I think Eckler will be, I don't know if he's going to be back to that 2020, 2021 year, but yeah, I reckon he's going to feature in the offense really heavily.
They call him pound for pound. Apparently, he's the strongest bloke in the NFL pound for pound. Like, he's just an absolute workhorse in the gym. And you can see once he gets out on those runs, he's strong as hell, and he'll definitely punch one in this game, Morgs. I fucking love that leg.
Done.
Next one, Cowboys at the Giants. Giants getting the points +3.5. Geez, if you're not bullish on the Cowboys, you'll be taking those Giants points like I would, Morgs. Anything in this one?
I'm fucking locking up. Steak eggs. Give me my steak. Give me my eggs. I'm going CD Lamb's over. I don't even know what the over-under is. Wow. That's how confident I am. I'm so confident.
He finished the year so strong.
Well, have a listen to the first 4 weeks last year. So his first 4, he had 103 out of the 4, and he averaged 99.5 a game. So you can see all the hype about him. As I told you, I've said it a million times, how scripted this game of football is going to be. And if you don't think he's going to be, the first one targeted, I'm buying in on the Cowboys too. I've said how much I like. I've got them going 12 and 5 because I missed one out.
Yeah.
I got the bye. So
Smart.
I've got them going 12 and 5. So if they're 12 and 5, they have to probably win this game against the Giants. And I still don't know what the Giants are, but give me CD, steak and eggs.
Best thing about this is CD's probably going to be lining up on Jev's defensive rookie of the year, Deontay Banks. So it'll be a real good gauge early of how Jev's tracking for sure.
Welcome to the league.
Another thing on this one is this is the perfect line for a home underdog. So the Giants are 3.5, which is they're getting a field goal. So I said earlier,
and the extra half point as well.
The extra half is massive. I was saying I didn't love the Steelers at 2.5 because if they lose by a field goal, they don't cover. But the 3.5, so that extra point swing from 2.5 to 3.5 is massive.
100%.
You could probably make it 5.5 and still get $1.70.
Yeah, exactly.
87-106 CD had last year against the Giants.
87-106. Watch.
No steak and eggs. Good start.
Watch him go berserk. Boys, I'll be taking a leg that I somehow have been taking a lot the last couple of years. Danny Dimes for 25-plus rushing yards.
Good leg.
He averaged 44.25 yards per game last year. That is a lot. He had 708 yards on 120 carries.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Danny Dimes had 708 yards.
Probably won him a playoff game. He's rushing.
Definitely. Yeah, he's sneaky athletic. It's not even sneaky anymore because he's been doing it for a while. He's just athletic.
708 yards is so much for a quarterback, especially when you think about him. Like, you wouldn't think that he's super mobile when looking at it, but he does. He gets it going. So I've got him for 25-plus rushing yards. You know they're going to be coming at him. Micah Parsons is probably going to be trying to run all over him. He's going to need to get one out, and I absolutely love it. So his line will be sitting around that 40 mark. So we'll probably get like $1.40, $1.30-ish for that 25 mark. So they'll get us up over the edge. Now, twist, massive primetime game. Bills at the Jets. A lot of talk about the Jets. Jets getting the points +2.5. How do you see this contest?
Josh Allen, 6 touchdowns, maybe 7 in the first half. No, I'm just kidding.
Fantasy quarterback, I would love to see that.
No, I actually don't know. This is, for me, the hardest game to predict of the week I think mainly because of the Jets. The Jets are really unknown, especially on offense. I think the defense, they're going to be stingy and hard to score against. But then you assume the Buffalo's offense is going to be better. So it's a really hard game to pick. I would completely stay away, to be honest. If I was to be betting on this game, I'd just be betting for a good game and pick these two teams up in week 2.
Weather's still good this time of year, isn't it, in New York?
Oh, it should be beautiful.
So we're going
70 and mostly sunny last time I checked us.
No, so that means are we just going to go quarterback for quarterback? Are we going to go yards?
Oh, we'll just go over. Yeah, just go
Rodgers.
points over.
As you said, I'd be staying away personally.
I think the Bills are maybe 3.5 favourites.
By the time you get to Tuesday night for us.
I'll be dabbling.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Just trying to give something out. Now, those are all the legs. So everything we pretty much said, by the time we get to Sunday and the actual markets come out, the first legs I'm going to look at is everything I said. I'm going to put that together. Hopefully that gets around 20 to 1. Niders legs get to 21. Morgs get together, gets 21. By the time you add those together and then we put a tenner on that usually gets us to $100,000. So those are the maths numbers that we look for. One last thing. I just had a quick thing today. This is completely off topic towards betting, but is this the last... a few years ago how everyone was like, had to pay your running back. They paid Gurley. He went down. Next person went down. Yeah, and then they stopped looking at that. Is this one of the last times we really look at those big quarterback paying contracts? Because now you look at all the guys from college, like they're potentially saying that there could be like 6 to 7 first rounders in the next draft, next 1 or 2 draft. That's how talented the guys are coming out in, because of like that 7 to 7 and because they've been playing those pro style offenses from college. Is this the time that we start to see a lot more quarterbacks get less pay so teams can start to build more defenses, get a quarterback in super cheap and have a 3 or 4 year run at actually trying to win a chip off the back of a young quarterback as opposed to paying high in talent?
Yeah, I think so. I think the quarterback position is going to change massively. And for years, there's always been those guys that you could have on your team, like maybe like Andy Dalton is the perfect example a few years ago, where you're never going to win a Super Bowl with him, but he's fine, so you're not going to get rid of him. There just aren't going to be those guys in 5 years because, as you say, every year there's 4 or 5 capable quarterbacks, at least for a couple of years. Not all of them will pan out, but...
For sure. But like even just watching college on the weekend, there is so many guys putting up like crazy numbers. I know it's just college, but even a lot of the analysts being like, no, this guy is like unbelievable. Like how many more times are like a team's going to go out and pay like a Deshaun Watson, like a $285 million guaranteed? Like, are people going to keep paying Dak after his next contract? Like Jalen Hurts, are they going to give him an extension? Goff, if he starts to fizzle out, are they going to go again with him? Or are they like, fuck it, let's just go get another rookie. Let's build all around him and let's hopefully we get another 3 or 4 year crack at it.
I think the opposite. I reckon.
You reckon they're just going to keep... No, I was thinking about it today. I was like, I wonder what they're going to start doing, because eventually these quarterbacks have to get drafted somewhere.
I think what will happen more is what happened to Kirk Cousins this year. So Kirk Cousins hasn't been extended. He'll be a free agent at the end of this year, but he's on a boatload of money. I think with the first round quarterbacks, there's probably going to be more of them, but I think the stats will be the same. If you look at, I think it's like 20% of first round quarterbacks pan out. I think there might be another 10. So let's say there's a first round with 10 quarterbacks. I still think only 20% of them will pan out. I was thinking about it the other day. There's only ever really like 8 quarterbacks that are good enough to win in the NFL. There's 32 teams. I just think that the more quarterbacks that come through and the more that don't pan out, it will even increase the value more for that 8 quarterbacks that are the Burrows, the Allens, the Mahomes.
I was just going to say, especially with like how impatient everyone is now, if you got, say you've had Kirk for 12 years and you're like, hey, we still haven't won one, you draft someone, the fans are going to be like, fuck this, let's get this new kid in. And then the front office is getting pressure. And then it's just going to be like almost like let's on to the new thing. The
funny thing is the swings and roundabouts, because you got like a Minnesota who now are sick of paying the quarterback and they're going to have a rookie. Do you know where Cousins is going to go? Probably San Fran for a shitload of money, because they've done the drafting and now they just want the quarterback that works. So there's always the team that wants the rookie and there's always the team that just wants to get rid of the rookie.
No, yeah, 100%. I reckon the floor of quarterback play in the league is just going to rise. So I think
hopefully, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens at the very top with the top guys. But I just think that those sort of struggling, like Davis Mills from a couple of years ago and the Texans, those guys just aren't going to be in the league. Instead, you're going to have, a high upside Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, that sort of player coming in. And
that's a good call. I wrote that.
Playing.
Yeah, just something I thought about, so I thought chuck that in at the end.
To bring it in.
Hey, That is the end of the 100K pod. So we will have the multi out on Sunday. If you're a part of the Discord, you'll just be able to click all the links, and then they'll put the 100K in there. Also, we'll be having a Discord multi so that you guys can obviously follow along. If you guys are at work, we'll put on all the bets for you, and obviously we'll be writing them all together. So super exciting. We got this. We got the AFL finals this weekend coming in the next few days. It is all happening here, and we absolutely fucking adore every single second of it, boys. Well done. Good first pod.
Boys.
Thanks to Twist for filling in.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Let me get up and we'll do it.
Rams by 5. Put the microphone to your mouth so you can... Good morning.
Good morning.
Chili, baby back ribs. Go the Blues. Go the Baggers. Next time you watch his Blues will be fucking...